So recently I was granted access to a preview build of Dwerve. Dwerve is a tower defense dungeon crawler RPG presented in an almost Legend of Zelda style. Now this couldn't have come at a better time because I'd just finished an incredibly unhealthy binge of the Kingdom Rush series. And let's be honest, there's not a lot of tower defense games dropping in recent times. This game promises 15 plus turrets and traps, 100 plus upgrades with unique upgrade paths for each tower, 40 plus enemies, 6 different biomes, and 7 epic boss battles. The preview of the game lasted about 40 minutes and took you through the beginnings of the game. So while it's a little bit hard to gauge the difficulty or the strategy that this game might offer, what I can say is that it was incredibly charming. It did have beautiful pixel graphics, and I'm really genuinely intrigued to see where this game goes on its full release. The story focuses on a young dwarven tinkerer that adventures into dwarven ruins to unearth the lost technologies of the ancient warsmiths, these being turrets and traps. The preview had some intriguing world building, and I'm curious to see where the story goes from the first 40 minutes. Unfortunately, it's a little bit hard to truly gauge the gameplay from what was offered in the preview build, as it was quite basic. You can manually place towers wherever you might move, you can attack by standing still, and you can dash with the shift key. The towers on offer were quite basic, filling the usual roles of a ranged tower, a short melee tower, something that slowed enemies, and so on and so forth. I am curious to see where this goes with the upgrade paths that the developers are talking about, but again, it's a little bit hard to truly gauge with such limited gameplay. What I can say though is it felt good to place towers. Towers felt meaty when they fired, and there was a decent strategic layer of placing these towers. So overall, it seems pretty good. In between encounters, the world felt vibrant, and there was little things to do like cutting down grass or exploring for treasure, solving puzzles. And on top of this, the world felt good because of the world building being a step above most games of this caliber. And I think that's not only got to do with the decent writing on display, but also just the really lovely pixel work and attention to detail on each of the maps. The detailed sprite and real-time lighting just look good. I think right now my only major concern is something that a lot of games seem to fall into, and that's when a game developer tries to merge two established genres, creating something that's not as good as either one of those in a vacuum. Now don't get me wrong, Dwerve seems like it's going to really do the trick, but I can't help but wonder if this gameplay is going to hold up past an hour, past 2 hours, past 3 hours. From what's in display in this preview, I do feel fairly confident that developers know what they're doing, but again, it is just something that's hard to measure when we only have a limited look at the game with limited tools at our disposal. I guess what I'm trying to say is tower defense feels good to me because of those established rules of the genre. Dwerve really is stripping a lot of those to mesh them into something that is like Legend of Zelda. So maybe concern isn't the right word I'd use here, but I'm just really intrigued to see where it ends up. Overall, I wish I could say more, I wish I could critique more and offer a little bit more of a review of this, but because it was so short, all I can say is, it looks great. And if it looks great to you, definitely go and wishlist it, it really helps the developer. While we don't have a firm release date, Dwerve will be out sometime during 2022, and keep your eyes open because it's a game that I would love to review on my channel when it does drop.